Hey friends. So I'm sorry ahead of time if this video shakes a little bit because I'm on a porch swing and I'm going to try to hold myself still. Today we're going to talk about supporting children's emotions or emotional life, especially as we prepare for new beginnings going back to school, and especially in times when it's going to be a little different than usual. Little kindergartners may not know the difference because they're new to all this, but the rest of us will have some adjustments to make. So we've talked about in the past 3 weeks how to support the body, and I'm going to review a few of those things first, and then we'll talk about how we can work with and help our children to have some basic tools for their emotional intelligence and self-direction and self-awareness. So first of all, we want to consider our physical bodies, because there are so many ways we can practically support the physical systems that need proper food, nutrition, and two of the things we can do to really boost and help our brain health is to cultivate good gut health. So we're going to do that with using, first of all, just in our daily diet, helping our children choose real veggies, organic meats when we can find them, or locally raised, butter, olive oil, some very basic healthy fats that we all need for, again, brain development, brain health, and nourishing our gut, our whole system, digestive system. From Dr. Herzog, who's an integrative medical doctor, she recommended the number one thing we can do for our kids' health is to both choose more healthy sugars and limit our refined sugars. It really does make a huge difference. It's just so many layers, so many ways. We won't go into the details here, but if we can limit our children's refined sugar intake and then substitute that with healthy sugars, which would be, they actually have nutritional value in honey. Honey can even help with just local allergens, help our bodies adapt as needed. So if you can find local honey, that's the best. And then to use coconut sugar, maple sugar, unrefined sugars, any of those substitutions would make a real difference in our kids' diets. As well as think of using fruits instead of sweets, for their sweets, like instead of candy. It's great to give our kids treats. It's awesome. We, as children, love and need the sugars to keep up and fuel the energy that they need and just, are using daily when they're outside and playing. So go after the healthy sweets and nourish their bodies. So a third thing we can do for just our physical body systems is to help support our stress response. We're all going to have stresses. It's inevitable. It's a good thing. It helps make us stronger and challenges our immune systems to grow stronger. So one easy thing we can do, easy as in make it a habit, is to put on a diffuser at night. And there are some just very basic oils that most of us already have in the house. So for children, we're just going to put 2 to 4 drops into the diffuser, make it part of the bedtime routine, and then it's just, you practically do it without thinking. I like to keep the diffuser on the top shelf of my son's bookshelf, so like really on top of the bookcase, so it's less likely to get knocked over. I just, when he's brushing his teeth, that's my job. I go in there, grab the diffuser. If he was an older child, I would just have him do it himself. I rinse out the diffuser from the night before and put fresh water in it, put 2 to 4 drops of oils I actually keep in the bathroom medicine cabinet. So Serenity is a go-to. Vetiver, Copaiba is one of our newer oils. Lavender, frankincense, and sometimes I use lemon or wild orange, a drop of that. Of course, On Guard is a really great blend for nighttime protection. When I find that my child is maybe scared, there's just some nights where he goes to bed and he's worried about something, or he makes up stuff in his mind to get scared and worried about. I find that a drop of the citrus oils just brightens the atmosphere and subsequently lifts his mood and really just allows him to go to sleep without those night terrors. So that's been really super helpful. Bedtime, sleep time is such a big deal for children. As any of us can imagine, the children just need that time for healing for all of us. But for children, they are doing some major growth during their sleep. So the more we can do to help them sleep well and sleep deeply, and without the night terrors, or if they're having bad dreams, and wake up in the night, there are specific blends that you can use and keep by their bedside to rub on their back, usually the backbone or soles of feet. So during this time is also a really precious, sacred time a great opportunity to use affirming words at night. I like to choose a phrase that I repeat, if not all the time, every single night, maybe just a weekly phrase, so that we can change it up and adjust as needed. Since our children are going through different ages, growth, they maybe need to hear different affirming words at different times of their life. So some simple ways you could do that is read a simple story. Even if your child is a great reader and can read chapter books all night, I find that even my 10-year-old still can enjoy some of the books we used when he was a toddler, and it kind of helps you relax instead of getting you all geared up to really understand a deep and important story. Another thing we have found just so relaxing is simple prayers. You can even memorize them. Get a book of prayers, historic prayers. Sing with your child, and that again helps them to relax. So what we're after is reducing or relaxing the stress response that we've, the whole day, whatever has gone on that day, the work, the play, to allow our bodies to relax into the deep sleep mode. And then, every day we've got emotional outbursts, reactions to things, energy rises up within us. So secondly, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, self-awareness. Some of us call it just being aware, developing our awareness. Being present is a common term we like to use these days. So very basics about emotions. They just don't come out of nowhere. They are actually generated in our bodies, mostly based on two criteria. We could think of it as what we're experiencing in the moment, and then we also respond to information stored in our bodies. It could be before birth. It could be generational things that are stored in our bodies and our minds from past experiences. So we always know that we're dealing with two layers of things, the deep inner subconscious responses, and then just in the moment. Somebody said something we reacted to, or the kid fell off the bed and he's got to start bedtime routine all over again. So whether it's a present concern or something that is dug up from the past, it's an energy. It's a positive or negative response to external stimuli, to other people, to people clashing together. Two different people want two different things, all that stuff. So in the most simple terms, we can just remember emotions are energy. And for me, that's been super helpful when I get angry, when I can remember that anger is great. It is an energy, and I could take that energy, I could be destructive with it, or I could build up somebody or something. And so if we've struggled with thinking of negative emotions like angers and outbursts and crying. Some people are very uncomfortable with tears because maybe as a child they were taught, you're weak or you're stupid or you're somehow deficient if you cry. And so we find ourselves as parents getting really upset about our kid crying, and we're like, stop that, don't cry, only babies cry. When it's just energy, it's a response to something that happened. It can be so simple, or it can be so complex. Either way, it's more helpful to just recognize it for what it is. And that's what we want to help our kids do, to recognize what is just the fact of the matter. There's tears coming down my face. I am lying on the floor, screaming and kicking my feet. That's okay. So we're going to call that process simply identifying. So the basics we want to have for emotional awareness in any situation, for ourselves or for our kids, would be first identify it. Identify what's going on. The factual things our bodies are doing, the words we're saying, the expressions we're making. And it really helps sometimes to mirror that back to our children because they can't see what they're doing. And they're usually less self-aware than we have become as adults. So to identify, to acknowledge and name it, like literally name the emotion. Oh, you look like you're really angry. Is that how you're feeling? And sometimes I actually get it totally wrong. And my son is not angry. He's actually very disappointed. So it's truly helpful to just ask the child. And if they're really young, of course, it totally depends on their age. If they're super young, you are helping them learn the words to identify those feelings. So acknowledge and name it. And then lastly, of course, we're going to work together. We're going to limit that behavior. No, you may not, punch your brother in the face. But what we can do is come here with me. We're going to go sit down and we're going to... guess what? I've got some oils you could smell. And so this is a great time to, once we've identified, you're crying. Oh, you're sad. Oh, let's sit down together. Bring out the oils. Go get them from your cabinet. It just takes one. It just takes, in this case, we're going to talk about helping the child to identify what he or she needs. So I would take 3 different oils that you have and just open the bottle and let your child smell them. Ask them, what smells best to you? Oh, does that one smell sad? Oh, that smells nasty. And they'll pick one. And then you're going to take that, whatever's appropriate. If it's a bottle of straight oil, not diluted, you're just going to let them smell it. They could just inhale it and get all the benefit they need right there, right then. If you have the roller bottles, which are super great, and I'll talk about how to get those in a second. The pre-diluted bottles, in doTERRA we call it the touch system, or the kids collection. They can take those and just roll them on their wrist, or roll them behind their neck, or behind their ears. Especially with children, you want to watch out to keep them away from their face, but close enough where they can still smell it. So back of the neck, wrist, or soles of feet are really great places. I even like the back of knees. It's like if you're in summer, you're probably wearing shorts. It's a great soft place to put oils that are out of the way, but you can still smell it, and it's still absorbed in the skin to get the benefit. So at this time, you're with your child. You've identified what the child needs, and that can enable us to make better decisions, to choose a better course of action. And of course, depending on the situation, sometimes that's all the child needs, is to reconnect with you, to get the comfort he needs, to get the pat on the back, to get, use those oils, rub them on, if they need it, rub it on their backbone or their neck, and give them a little teeny tiny massage. That connection can make all the difference. And if there have been infractions and apologies need to be made, that's when you're going to the child will be more calm and more balanced out to go back to the sibling that they hurt, or make amends with you and be like, it gives them a breather to say, oh, wow, Mom, I'm really sorry I said it that way. So we've had really great success with that in our household. Lastly, resources. How do you find these? Some of us are new with our doTERRA accounts, and some of us, even though I've been around for a long time, the website changed. So I just went on there and did a little digging myself and found on the doTERRA.com website, if you look at the shop tab at the top of the page, it's going to let the menu drop down. You'll see kits and collections. Hover over that. Your next menu will be a whole list of different kinds of kits, and under the one just termed collections, you're going to find these three that I pulled out as super helpful for children in this circumstance. The Emotional Aromatherapy Kit was developed for adults, but there's a touch line that you can use that's pre-diluted. Super easy to keep around the house in appropriate places, like by their desk if they're doing homework at home. I love to keep some oils that I would use specifically at bedtime or in the morning. I keep it just in the bathroom. So we can get it, when you're brushing your teeth or as you're waking up in the morning. The kids oil collection is it's already even has labels on there for specific emotions or like I'm thinking of one called Thinker. That helps the child cue the child on which oil would be appropriate for the feeling or the situation that he or she is in. So the kids oil collection, already labeled, already diluted for very sensitive skin, so it's extra diluted, super safe. One of our newest oils, the Adaptive System, also has a pre-diluted touch roller bottle. That one's going to be really great for children who suffer a little more from anxiety and from maybe the stress of those anxious feelings. And then we've got the plain old doTERRA Touch System, which is like our Family Essentials kit, pre-diluted. It's going to have On Guard, Breathe, the common ones we need for everyday health situations. If you're in need of a diffuser, it's super handy to, under that same menu, you'll find the Lumo Sleep Collection and the Petal Essential Collection. Those are two different kinds of diffusers for a little bit different purposes. I believe it's the Lumo that lasts longer than the Petal. Check that out, and those come with oils that would be simple and easy to use, safe to use for the children also. One thing I was so happy to see is the educational section. It's called Discover, the Discover tab, again on the main doTERRA website. There's a whole section under there. It goes over all the bodily systems for all ages of people. But there's a specifically kids section, and that's going to go over dilution and safety with application for oils, such tips as, when in doubt, go first for topical or diffusing oils versus internal for children. We're going to keep the oils external until we have a specific reason to use Copaiba soft gels or On Guard soft gels. It's not that you couldn't, it's just that let's first use something topically and see if that works. All right, guys, thank you so much for showing up, and find this recorded. Comment below and let us know if you have questions or other experiences that you would like to share that you've especially found successful for your kids. Thanks. Have a great day.